Hi guys, it's Sophie. So today I'm doing the mid-year book tag. I was tagged by Amy from Shoutame, so thank you ever so much. And I enjoyed doing the mid-year freak-out book tag last year, so I thought I would have a go at this one. There are 15 questions, but the last one's going to be fairly long, so we'll get there. It may be quite a long video, but I'm going to try and be concise. Question 1 is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2017? And for me that is Bluets by Maggie Nelson. If you watched my wrap up in which this one was included, you'll have heard that I really found this book resonated with me personally, and it was just one of those books that you kind of feel a bond with that doesn't happen very often, and this was definitely one for me. So yeah, it has to be Bluets because I had such a strong personal response to it. And question 2 is, what's the best sequel that you've read in 2017? I actually haven't read any sequels in 2017, so I adapted this to be the best book from an author you've read before, so like another try at the same author. And for that one I've gone with Death at Intervals by Jose Saramago. I really love his writing, I really love his books. I underlined loads of stuff through here. He plays with some really interesting ideas, and if you haven't read him yet, then it's definitely worth giving a go. And the next one is a new release that you haven't read yet but that you're really looking forward to, and that one has to be Exit West by Nassim Hanaud. And I wanted to buy this one as soon as I heard about it, and basically didn't get it in Stockholm, and ran and bought it straight away after I got back to the UK, and then it's just sat there, which is really sad, and I want to get to it. It's signed as well, like it's got all the things going on, but I'm just saving it for a minute, but I think I'm going to cave soon and just read it because I've been looking forward to it for such a long time. Number 4 is your most anticipated release for 2017, or for the later half of 2017. The one that I am really looking out for at the minute and will buy as soon as I see is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. I can't remember who wrote that one, but I have seen that kicking around on Instagram and on Twitter, and just loads of publicity around it, and I think it sounds really interesting. The title's obviously quite striking, and I've enjoyed reading a little bit more about race relations this year. So yeah, that's one that I'm going to buy as soon as I find it. I actually went out with Amy yesterday and we went around the town I live in trying to find some books for each of us, and I couldn't find that one, but if I'd found it I would have bought it. Question 5 is the biggest disappointment of 2017, and for me this one was Fish Have No Feet by John Carmen Stephenson. Remote Icelandic story, mixing in military intervention in like a rural setting with sort of the quiet pace of life seemed great, but there was so much sort of like, I have a penis, am I not amazing, I cannot control this penis thing going on in here, that I really didn't like it. So yeah, it's such a shame because I thought I was going to love this book. Question 6 is the biggest surprise, and for me this one was Heartbreaker, which is some stories by Marissa Mayher. And I picked this one up because I saw the cover on Goodreads and it was recommended to me and I thought it looked cool, and I really knew nothing else about it. It's a collection of short stories and I just absolutely loved them. They're so me, they're really dark, they are kind of fantastical but mixing in elements of kind of madness. So the one that I remember most, like the one that I can't get out of my head, is a man who falls in love with a forest fire, and I just thought they were fantastic, and I don't know if anyone's picked this one up on my recommendation, but if you haven't, go pick this one up because I haven't heard anyone else talking about it and I do think it's really good. Question 7 is a favourite new author, and for me it's going to have to be Mariana Enriquez. I read Things We Lost in the Fire fairly recently and just found it really strong, a really good collection, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing if any more of her works gets translated and to jump into maybe some full-length pieces of hers if she has novels that she's written. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for more of her work. Question 8 is your newest fictional crush. I'm not going to answer that, I don't really have crushes on people in books anymore. But number 9 is your newest favourite character. And for me that has to be Kitty's love interest in Anna Karenina, who's called Levin, and he is like, you kind of love him and hate him at the same time. So he is this landowner who tries to relate to sort of the peasants, but he also does it in such a scientific manner that it comes across as quite cold, and he almost undoes any goodwill that you feel for him because of how he's coming across. But yeah, I find him really interesting to read and I always look forward to hearing from his perspective and his life, so I think probably him. And question 10 is a book that made you cry. So I have to go for Another Day in the Death of America by Gary Young. I cried within the first chapter of this book and cried pretty much every chapter on from that. It's talking about the deaths of these 10 lives, these 10 young people who were killed within 24 hours due to gun violence, and it's a really good book, but it is so sad. I absolutely just cried throughout all of it, but yeah, it's really good, really important book. And the next one is a book that made you happy, and for that one I have to go with England, Your England by George Orwell. This is an essay about England, and it just kind of made me feel connected to England in a way I hadn't really felt before, and there were little elements of it that I was like, I'd never thought about us that way before, and then when you say it I was like, oh yeah, like the English love flowers, and I never really thought of that before, but it's such a true thing. And since I read that, I've kind of like been testing these little hypotheses, and I've kind of found them to be true. So yeah, it just made me smile, and it's continued to make me smile and feel more connected to people going on, so that's why I had to choose this one. And the next one is your favourite book to film adaptation. Now, I only think I had two, but the one that I liked best was The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. This is a book I read, I think, pre-Booktube, about a couple who go to live on this remote lighthouse and essentially have this whole issue with them trying to have a baby, and it's a story about them and they're trying to have a baby on this island, and also like how their relationship is functioning when they're so split off from society. It's just a romantic story, but I actually really liked it, and I normally don't like romances. It's just interesting and fun, and I did think the movie was really pretty and felt really true to the book too. Question 13 is your favourite video that you filmed so far this year, and for me, when I was like looking back over my videos, it's actually my vlogs. I've really liked all of my Watch Sophie Do Very Little vlogs, and I really like my Stockholm vlogs, and I feel like I wouldn't want to just vlog, that's not what I want the channel to be, but I really like having those mixed in to give you guys pieces of my life you wouldn't otherwise see, and I've really liked filming them and editing them and having them as something to look back on. So yeah, I think probably my Watch Sophie Do Very Little videos are my favourite for the whole year so far. And question 14 is the most beautiful book that you bought or received this year, and it has to be A Jest of God by Margaret Lawrence. I've shown this in a few videos recently. I just absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous. I love the detail of like the, I don't know what it's called, kind of geometric patterns on it, how it wraps around, the colours. I just think it's absolutely stunning. I keep looking at it and being like, yes, I wish I was as lovely as this book is. So, the very last one that we have in terms of questions today is, what are all the books that you want to read before the end of the year? I'm going to do a whistle-stop tour through my TBR because I do know what I need to read before the end of the year, and I thought it'd be fun to show you guys. So we're going to move locations and I'll show you that in just a sec. So the last question is, what books do you have that you need to read by the end of 2017? They're behind me. I'm going to stand up and just show you them to the camera, and then we're going to go downstairs and I'll show you the other ones as well, but it's easier than pulling them all in and trying to do it on my chair. Beloved by Toni Morrison, Panzram, A Journal of Murder by Gaddis and Long with bits by Carl Panzram himself, We Need New Names by No Violet Borrego, American Pastoral by Philip Roth, Strangers Drowning by Larissa LaQuaver, Everything is Illuminated by Jonathan Safran Foer, Sutri by Cormac McCarthy, Swing Time by Zadie Smith, 4321 by Paul Auster, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, Deceit and Self-Deception by Robert Trivers, and The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers. So then I also have the ones that are on the shelf behind me, and the first ones I'm going to show you are the ones I've been sent for review, and then I'll move on to the ones that I bought myself. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, Skin Deep by Laura Wilkinson, What Is Not Yours by Helen Oyeyemi, Strange Heart Beating by Ellie Goldstone, Testosterone Rex by Cordelia Fine, Patriots by Sana Krisnikov, Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami, Walls Come Tumbling Down by Daniel Rachel, Christadora by Tim Murphy, Are You Experienced by William Sutcliffe, High Fidelity by Nick Hornby, The Road to Litchfield by Penelope Lively, White Teeth by Zadie Smith, A Start in Life by Anita Bruckner, A Short History of Tractors in Ukrainian by Marina Lakushka, Any Human Heart by William Boyd, Twilight by Ellie Wiesel. And then we're going to go on to the ones I've bought myself. These aren't going to be any of the ones that I am doing for my Around the World challenge because obviously I'm reading all of those next year. So these are like my TBR that I bought this year I need to read by the end of this year. Politics in the English Language by George Orwell, Why I Write by George Orwell, Books vs Cigarettes by George Orwell, The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson, Bricks and Mortar by Clemens Mayer, The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks, The Muslims Are Coming by Arun Kundani, The Clay Girl by Heather Tucker, Lines in the Sand by A.A. Gill, Utopia for Realists by Rutger Bregman, Exit West by Massine Hamid, and last but not least, A Jest of God by Margaret Lawrence. So hopefully you've enjoyed hearing about my reading so far through 2017 and what I'm excited to get to for the end of the year. Let me know in the comments down below what your favourite book of 2017 so far has been, and let me know what your most anticipated releases for this year as well. Alright, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!